Hey YouTube, this is Swbfstevo again. Now I've already shown you off my Glad deck, but I've realized that since Gladiator beasts are my main deck, I'll be changing it around a lot. So I'll be making a continuous videos on perfecting the Gladiator beasts. Might change it to something more original, but for now it'll be called Perfecting the Gladiator Beast parts, etc. Well, currently my Glad deck is control based. It's this Gladiator Beast deck is quite different from many others that you will see that it will top and stuff. This is somewhat similar to the build that I made 3-in-1 with at my locals with some edits. It's got the general idea in there, but the deck that I made 3-in-1 with was before the March ban list, but this is pretty much the same build except with few edits. Yeah, so I guess let's get started. And also, on Perfecting the Gladiator Beast, I'm also going to be explaining more about the cards, since this is more than just a deck list. This is going to be reasons on why I run these cards and stuff, and why these cards would help to perfect the Glads. So yeah, now we can get started. Got 1, 2, 3 Gladiator Beast Liquari. I know it's ugly that I only have 2 rares and one common, but anyways, Liquari is the beat stick of the Gladiator Beasts. Most people only run 2, but the thing is, with Gladiator Beasts, I've noticed that most people don't run that many Glads, okay? I mean, average is maybe like 14 to 16, no, 13 to 16 actual Gladiator Beasts, and I think you need the extra Glads and stuff. And I mean, especially with the Liquari, I mean, this guy is your main beat stick. You want him on the field a lot of the time. I mean, one's gonna get bottomless, one's probably gonna be in the grave. You always need one in your deck, or maybe this one's gonna be in your hand, but you need the 3. It's 1800 beat stick. I think all Glad decks need it at 3, except for the very rare occasion that run Prisma. And by the way, I don't run Prisma in this because, first of all, I don't have one, and I just want to make a build that's not Prisma, because Prisma just uses Gyzarus, and I don't think it's all that much skill. Then you got your 1 Hoplimus. This card is really good. It's your 2400 defense when it's brought out by Glad. It can be used in very many different occasions. I run this at 1 for first turn and that kind of thing. Yeah, usually side it out against mirror and that kind of thing. You got your 1 bestiary, destroy spells and traps, and use Gyzarus. In this build, you don't try to Gyzarus as much, especially since Starlight Road is out, but I'm going to be trying to bestiary back row a lot more now. Bottomless is still out there, but I mean, it's at 2, so honestly I'd recommend checking the grave and stuff, because I mean, we protect him too much and it probably costs us the game. So I'd recommend using him a lot more, and using cards to protect him in case they do bottomless, like Book of Moons. I mean, you run those, you can Book of Moon him, and then I mean, you can Gyzarus once you get that bottomless out of the way. You run your Murmelo for your monster removal. I kind of want to run 2, but I'd probably side the second. But because I mean, a lot of the time, I mean, you bring it out and then your opponent just destroys it next turn. So I'd recommend. I mean, I wouldn't like bag on you if you ran 2. I just don't think there's the room. And then you got your 1 Retiari, remove stuff, great against this format and many other formats. I mean, you can remove Vayu and stuff. It's always good to keep in the deck unless you're running or you're facing a DD deck. You got your 2 Gladiator Beast Quest. This card adds your Gladiator Beast to your hand. Um, 2 is really good. It helps you recycle your war chariots, which you'll be using a lot in this deck. You'll really need him. Um, I mean, plus this guy, you run it too, because, I mean, it adds to the hand, and since you only won 1 Darius in this deck, you're going to want to protect your Darius from bottomless and stuff, and Darius getting in the grave. So you run 2 of these guys, plus it's 1600. You got your 1 Darius, bring back stuff for the grave. I only really use him if, like, both my Laquaris are in the grave, and I've got 1 removed, and stuff like that, or if I want to go into a Gyzerus play or a Hurt play. He doesn't see that much play, but it's really, really useful. Now you got your 2 Sam Knights. I do run Rescue Cat in this build, plus their search effect is really, really good. I also run cards to help with the search on him, because, I mean, a lot of people really, really hate this card, but I think that, I mean, Gladiator Beasts are already short of monsters, and you really, really need this card, so I'd recommend, and I do, play so that you can use him a lot more, and he's not a dead Gladiator Beast. Get 2 Test Tiger. In the build that I made 3-1 with at locals, and then eventually made in the top 4, I ran no Test Tigers. Dead serious, I ran no Test Tigers, okay? Because I always found that they were clogging up my hand, and I never needed them. But I run 2 now, and I like the 2 because it doesn't really clog up your hand, and then they're actually useful. Sorry about my garage, but yeah, they're really, really useful, and plus their Rescue Cat targets, really, really good. I kind of wish I ran these, you know, when I made top 4 at locals, but I mean, it worked. But yeah, they really work well at 2. And I mean, if you run a 3rd, I don't think it really hurts you in this build. I sometimes want to run 3, but I just keep 2 for them, make it more consistent throughout instead of more situational things. I got 1 Rescue Cat. It searches out my Sam Knights and my Test Tiger, and I mean, this card overall is just really, really consistent. I mean, a lot of people think it's not very... There's my garage again, sorry. But I think this card is really, really consistent. It's either 2 Glads or a Glad and a Test Tiger. It's really, really good. You gotta watch out for that bottomless, though, when you bring out your Sam Knight. Or 2 Sam Knights and both of them get removed. You gotta really watch for that. But overall, this card is just really, really good if you're careful with it, and it just can cause you to win games. I mean, I know this has caused me to win games extremely. And keeping on Rescue Cat, I also run 1 Arabellum for Synchro. Arabellum is really, really good. I run the 1 with the Rescue Cat, but I mean, even if it gets in my hand, I really, really like it because, I mean, I often discard with this guy. It's never dead. I ran this 2 in my 3-1 deck. It worked really, really well. I mean, you bring out Rescue Cat, Arabellum, and Sam Knight, or I mean, if you want to get rid of Test Tiger, you can bring out a Test Tiger. Synchro for level 6, I'm sorry. You could bring out a Goyo or a Bryanak. I mean, there are times where if I Bryanak, it'd give me game. Unfortunately, I don't have a Bryanak. That's why I really, really think I need one, because it would have won me the game if I had it. So I'm going to probably be getting a Bryanak here soon. I really hope I do. And I mean, even if you want to synchro for level 7 with Rescue Cat, I mean, you just attack with Sam Knight first. Bring out a level 4 you don't need. Maybe even a Bestiar, you pop a card and then sync for level 7, and then you can just bring out a Darius later game. This card, with him, I think it makes the deck so much more better. So much better. Now this card, you don't see like any play in Gladiator Beasts. I really, really recommend this. I ran this also. It just won me games because, I mean, it won me games again. I mean, the only game it actually won me was a Lightsworn deck, because he kept setting the 1 monster since he couldn't do anything else, and it won me the game just by that. And I mean, he definitely gets you out of very tight spots, can return those synchros, Doesn't really have to worry about too much, because I mean, trap hole doesn't even stop it. I mean, you only have to worry about maybe mirror force and dimensional prison. So yeah, I mean, it really works. Because also, since this card's a control deck, I try and get rid of my opponent's field and stuff, and I run a lot of cards that protect my field. So I mean, this just helps me get out, like, attack into a set monster and just add it back and get more attacks off. Really works.